eXP Realty. Any reproduction or reuse of this program without written consent of WPSL and WSTU is strictly prohibited. And now it's time for My Dream Home Radio Show with Eileen Simons. Portions are pre-recorded. Oh, no, they're not.
It's always so much fun being with you, Greg. Good morning, everybody.
You got a dull life. That's all I got to say. Oh, how you doing?
Good. We just want to remind everybody out there listening that this show is for you. So if you have any real estate related things you want to talk about, call us here at the station. You can reach us at 772-340-1590, and we will discuss your question on air. If you don't want to call in, you can always send an email to mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com, and we can discuss your request in another show.
All right. I see something on the list. 6 most important things to do before you
that's
move.
coming up.
Well, we could send that to the basketball coach at IRSC who's moving to Charlotte.
Gosh, I thought he already did.
Well, he's already up there, and naturally, Kim is putting the house up for sale. But the figure that they were given by a moving company to move to Charlotte. Now, how many miles away is Charlotte?
I don't know,
800?
but moving
Something like that.
is very expensive. That's one of the reasons why there are so many properties in Florida that get sold turnkey.
They told him $12,000.
Oh, yeah.
Now, hey, Carol and I are veterans of coast-to-coast moves. We've done it, 3 or 4 times?
Well, but you got to remember, look at the costs that have gone up over the last...
That's very true.
And even before gas prices increased, I know somebody whose move from Chicago to West Palm Beach, so this is just right before COVID, cost $15,000. So that was before the increase from gas prices.
That's what,
and
about 1,500 miles.
And the lack of people that want to work.
Oh,
or that want to work full time, I should say.
That's the other problem. It's amazing. Yeah,
Yep.
You're right.
It's expensive.
Wow.
Yes. And that's a conversation I try to have with people up front now, because that needs to be, because of the price of moving, that needs to be in their plan from the very beginning.
Wow. When she told me, I'm sitting there going, oh, my God, no. So, your first topic, why the market's adjusting? Well, I see that's part of it, I guess.
That's what this is about. So let's get to it.
Here we go.
Okay, so with inflation at a 40-year high.
Oh, it is? I didn't notice.
That's how this article starts out. Even if people were oblivious to things, the hike in the rate last week was a wake-up call to anybody who wasn't paying attention prior to that.
And that could be the first of many.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes. So what they're trying to do is, and honestly, I think that the housing industry takes the biggest brunt of that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to readjust the economy and use the housing industry as the scapegoat.
We were watching. We very seldom watch ABC News, but it was on the our normal is NBC, and obviously the Channel 5 is our television partner, but they were saying, it's just hard to imagine the housing industry is taking a turn down. And I'm going, what?
Where have they been? Maybe that's why we watch Fox.
They haven't been listening to you. That's what the deal is. Oh, gosh. Wow.
Okay, so listen to these numbers. And this came from the Fed. They have $9 trillion in loans out right now, including the 2.71 trillion in mortgage-backed securities that they've purchased over the past years to keep rates low.
That's Fannie Mae and the other Freddie Mac.
Yeah, so the realization that the Fed is going to have to take a harder line to combat inflation prompted a sell-off on bond markets last week. We all saw that.
Yep.
Put more upward pressure on mortgage rates. So mortgage rates went up. Economists at Fannie Mae once again downgraded their forecast from 2022 to 2023. And so by the time the Fed actually hiked the short-term federal funds rate by 75 basis points on last Wednesday, the move was already priced. The market had already adjusted to that because they knew it was coming. Okay? The point being that now what they have done is they have put actual skids on the housing market. Not only because there's still a supply chain issue with new construction. They still can't get all their materials in a timely manner. So not only is inventory backing up for them, but now because of the rate hike, and yes, in the larger scheme of things, the interest rate is still much lower than it has been in the past. But over the last how many years, people have become accustomed to 4% interest rates, not 6 or more than 6% interest rates. So when those interest rates go up more than 2% over, a 2-month period, that takes a lot of people out of the market because they simply can't afford the mortgage that they had expected to afford 2 months ago. So they stopped looking.
Well, I remember our first house, 16%. Thank you, Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I think I've told you the story about in 1981 when we moved to Michigan. We moved from Ohio to Michigan. Interest was 16%.
Yep.
We weren't about to do that. So what we did is we financed through the owner of that house.
Oh, okay. So the owner handled your financing.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Huh.
Which can get done. It can get done here in Florida, too. It's not very popular. A lot of people don't. But they've been doing that for years and years in other states. So what we did is we signed a 5-year note with a balloon at the end for that seller and got a much lower interest rate through them that way.
Owner financing? Is
Yes.
that what they call that? Yeah. Okay, I've heard of that. Yeah. Huh.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, that Fed increase was the worst kept secret in the world. I mean, of course, I watch Fox a lot, and Fox Business, my God, 2 weeks ago said that was going to happen. So, your regular caller.
Well, let me put my headset on.
Mm-hmm.
While I do that, another sign is, there are some big companies, big real estate companies that have their agents on staff as opposed to independent contractors. Those companies are laying off big numbers.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it makes sense. It does. Yeah, and a lot of those are like the big, as you call them, the cash buyers, I guess.
Well, they're like these are like combination companies. These are real estate companies. Plus, they also have a division of their company that buys. So those kinds of companies are the companies that are laying off.
I saw
There's also mortgage companies that have been laying off this year.
I saw on CNBC the big one that does a lot in the sports area, Rocket. They laid off a ton of people in the Midwest. I mean, a lot. I don't know where they're headquartered.
Their headquarters are in Detroit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they laid off a ton of folks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
But the one bright light in this still, I think, is the fact that this article also points that there are currently 822,000 single-family homes under construction in the United States. That's the highest level since November of 2006. They keep telling us that we are 1 million houses low in inventory. So this is, by the time these are sold, this is going to go a long way to helping that inventory disparity.
And 60,000 of those rooftops are in St. Lucie County. Oh, my. All right. So you want to hit the phones?
Sure.
All right. Go ahead. You're on.
Good morning, Charlie.
Hello. Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good. I woke up. That's a good sign.
Oh, yeah. That's always a good sign, right?
Yeah, I know. You were talking about interest rates. I talked to my son yesterday. Thankfully, he has a 3% fixed. But in 1985, I bought a condo in Connecticut. I was working for the Harper Current at the time. 54.9. I put $5,000 down. Fixed interest rate 11.675.
Yep.
And that was in 1985.
Right.
And they said you cannot refinance for 2 years. This is the reason I called. So I'm OCD. So I called up about a year later because I'm a planner, and they said we no longer hold your mortgage. I said, does that mean I can refinance? Yes. So then I refinanced, and I wanted a 15-year. They wouldn't let me do that. 20-year, 9% fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So I paid off that condo within 9 years.
And that was a year later from when you purchased it?
A year later, I was able to refinance because that mortgage company no longer held my mortgage. You know? So I said, does that mean I can refinance? And they said, absolutely. So it was a different company that refinanced.
Right.
And as a veteran, I actually bought that condo and closed and bought it and moved in within 30 days. I did all the paperwork. I did all the running around. Being an outside salesperson, you can get away with that.
Well, and I can tell you that mortgages don't take as long to accomplish anymore as they used to. In fact, I just had one of my listings close last week with a mortgage that was done in 17 days, which that's lightning speed.
Yep.
In comparison.
Well, I am not moving because the prices are crazy, even in Old Palm City.
Well, and you live in a good place, so it's time to stay, right?
I used to own a house in North River Shores, and in 2001, I got the highest amount on the canal. And those houses now are going for like $800,000 up.
Oh yes, most definitely.
I got 580 on the canal in 2001. No, it was 2015.
Okay.
So anyway, I love your show. Enjoy listening to it. And that's right, call a local realtor like Eileen. You don't want to go through these big companies.
Thanks, Charlie. We appreciate you following us.
All right.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that right there shows you 1981 interest rates were somewhere between 16 and 21% from what I remember.
Yeah.
So 4 years later in 85, he got an interest rate at 11%. And then another year later, he reduced it 2 more percent.
Yeah. I'm hearing bells.
Yeah, it's my phone ringing.
Okay. Hey, good. Oh, it's a message.
Sorry.
Sale went through. Oh.
Anyway, I thought that information was important to bring to everybody's attention. So
Yeah, it is. So many things are changing, and I think you talk about inflation. I mean, the thing that hits you right in the face every week is when we do our weekly shopping. It's absurd.
yes, yes. And what we just talked about in this article is, and I'm telling every seller out there, it has put a skids on our market. We still have plenty of cash buyers around, but people are in a wait and see mode now. Instead of making a quick decision the first day a house is on the market, they're taking their time now.
Well, and now is the time, if you're moving for like school or something like that. I mean, this is the time to do it.
Right. These houses that I brought to talk about today, these are all new listings.
Whoa, you've got several pages there.
So inventory is increasing. Houses are staying on the market. I don't anticipate prices going up.
Have we hit the ceiling, you think?
Well, I think for the most part we've leveled off.
Yeah.
And this stuff that we just talked about is the reason why. I mean, not that it didn't need to happen, because it for the health of the whole industry, prices needed to slow down.
So I can't get a mill for my one-room shed?
No.
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
No. So this is a Port St. Lucie property. Just came to the market. Lovely 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, CBS home.
Nice.
Okay. It is, I'm trying to remember the living square feet. Remember, that means under air. Almost 1,400 square feet. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. It's on the market for $339,000. These are all new listings that I'm talking about today.
Wow. Okay. CBS
Yes.
Construction. You can't beat that.
Right. This next one is also in Port St. Lucie. This is 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. It has 1,450 square feet. Built in 1997. This one's on the market for $254,900.
Nice price. Yeah.
Yep. This next one is in the area of Cashmere. Everybody knows where Cashmere is. I love saying that. It reminds me of an old sweater I used to have.
St. Lucie West.
Yep. So this one is a 4-bedroom, 2 bath, 2-car garage, a little over 1,700 square feet.
Ooh.
This one is on the market for $450,000.
Now, is that Cashmere?
This is St. Lucie West Cashmere.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's a big house.
Because Cashmere does go all the way over to what's that T Street over there?
Oh, you mean across town?
No, I can't think.
Goes
No,
down to there.
going north. I can't think of the name of that street right now, but
up to Torino. Yeah.
Torino.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But this is St. Lucie West. Yep. Let's see what this next one is. This next one is in this is in Port Salerno.
All right.
This is everything older, but everything brand new in it. And it is a modular, a manufactured home. $269,900 in Port Salerno.
For a manufactured home.
Yep.
Okay.
This next one is in Palm City. Charlie's neck of the woods.
Maybe Charlie's ex-wife is selling the house out from under him.
This is on a big piece of property, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on a little over 4 acres.
Woo.
It's very secluded. It's in Palm City. It is. It has a separate shop on the property also if you are a handy kind of person and you need a shop area. So this has a shop area with a bathroom in it. No, I'm sorry, with a kitchenette in it.
Wow.
And it is $1,075,000.
Oh, piece of cake. That almost sounds like one of those big homes in Palm City West. You've seen those?
Oh,
if
yeah.
You go down 95.
Yes.
They look like mansions.
Yeah, well, there's a big portion of the western part of Palm City that is horse country. They have equestrian ranches there
bet.
and big acreage.
Well, past 95 west, out all the way out to Indiantown is horse country. Yeah.
Well, what doesn't get sold off will be.
Well, yeah, that too.
Let's see. This next one is Crosstown and Floresta area.
Mm-hmm.
This is a rental. Ooh. This is a short-term rental property that's available. It is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage. Little over 2,000 square feet for $3,900 a month.
Oh, God. Wait a minute.
Yep.
I could buy a second house with
No, you couldn't.
that
Not at today's
and
prices.
an existing loan that we have for $3,900 a month.
$3,900 a month.
Oh my gosh.
This next one is also in Port St. Lucie. It is 2,400 square feet. It is 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, older home. So plan to do some work. $325,000. Looks like a very treed, secluded kind of area.
There are still some areas like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There is a meticulously maintained 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3-car garage
3. Wow.
in the Stewart area. $779,000.
Little above my.
And remember,
pay grade.
these are all new listings. So this one
Wow.
is stunning 3 bedrooms, 2 bathroom. This is a pool home in Jupiter Farms, on the market for $689,999.
Oh, that's a steal.
We can't call it $690,000. It's $689,999,
Plus tax.
and it's on over an acre.
Wow, it's a big piece of property.
Yes, nice big piece of property. This next one is in Port St. Lucie. It is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage, almost 1,900 square feet is the living square footage on it, on the market for $415,000. Do you want to hear more?
Sure.
Let's see if I can find one in a different area. This is in the Lake Charles area.
St. Lucie West.
3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage. And it is over 1,900 square feet, on the market for an even $400,000.
Wait, did you say Lake Charles?
Yep.
That's a steal in Lake Charles.
Well,
Wow. Now, keep in mind, folks, there are HOAs there. So.
yep. And it's not new. It was built in 97.
I was going to say, it can't be too old. Our kids used to live in Lake Charles. It's beautiful.
And then they
Beautiful
left you,
homes.
huh?
Yeah, they're up in Spokane now. Yeah. Yeah, I miss those, the little ones. The little ones, what are they, 22 and 20 now? Yeah.
Yeah, they grow up so fast.
Yeah, they do.
So this next one is, this is a rental property in Indiantown. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And it is $2,400 a month.
In Indiantown.
Yep.
Wow.
This next one is Port St. Lucie. 1,670 square feet under air. It is 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage, on the market for $469,900. No HOA, and it also has a den.
Wow. Okay. Good size home.
2 more. This one's in Tradition. Over 2,800 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, plus a half bath, 2-car garage. This is $580,000. It was built in 2014.
So we're starting to see resales in Tradition now.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna- yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the last one I have here is award-winning waterfront masterpiece
Uh-oh.
with a heated pool, almost a half an acre of private land in gated community, and it is 4 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms, 1 half bathroom, 3-car garage, over 3,800 square feet under air in Palm City, and this is on the market for $1,999,000.
Piece of cake.
Waterfront.
Waterfront.
Yepers.
$1 million waterfront, Palm
Yep.
City.
Yep.
Wow. I wonder if it's near that golf community down there.
Well, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I would
yeah.
almost say yes.
Yeah. That's a pretty safe bet. Wow. $1 million.
So those are all new properties on the market this past week. So otherwise, they wouldn't still say new listing. I wanted to bring them to everybody's attention.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay. Good stuff.
So this was a post that a cousin of mine sent out on Facebook yesterday, and I just loved it. So I don't often repost things on Facebook, but this I thought was really worth it. It's a little bit of a story, but I'd like to read part of it to you.
Mm-hmm.
It says, when my mom was cleaning out her house over 23 years ago to sell it, I wasn't very sympathetic over her attachments to things. I would go over on weekends to help her, and we would go through things for yard sale, things to donate, things to throw away. I would usually get upset over how long it was taking her to decide. For instance, we were going through the kitchen cabinets. She spent 20 minutes looking at an iron kettle with a lid. Finally, I said, Mom, at this rate, it's going to take us another 2 years to go through all this stuff. She told me that her mother used to make meals in that kettle and leave them at doorsteps of neighbors during the Depression.
Oh, wow.
Mom would deliver them, and then they would reappear back to her with an apron or a wood carving, something in return for the meal. I realized that everything that my mom was going through was really a reliving of her life. If you're reading this and you're under the age of 60, you won't get it. You haven't lived long enough. Most of you have not had to move your parents into a nursing home or emptied their home. You haven't lived long enough to realize that the hours you spend picking out the right cabinets or the perfect tile will not be what matters in later years. It will be the handmade toothbrush holder, or a picture that you got on vacation, or the kid's handprint from kindergarten.
Yep.
So if your parents are downsizing and moving to smaller places or selling a home, give your mom and even your dad a break. Those things that you don't understand why they can't just pitch, or why you think you know what needs to be tossed or saved. Give them a little time to make their decisions. They are saying goodbye to their past and realizing that they are getting ready for the end of their life while you are beginning yours.
Wow. That's, yeah. It is very interesting. Jack at Harbor Place talks a lot about bring all your stuff with you.
Yes.
Because this is your home.
Right.
And, because he was saying psychologically, that is a huge step.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel when they have to, even if it's not their final move, even if it's a move where they are not going to be living alone anymore, that is a tremendous adjustment because they feel like they're being forced to give up part of their independence.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So what they bring with them is absolutely crucial to their mental health.
I think back on when the kids moved here in 2000, I think it was 2001, and my mom, for some reason, had called me one day and just said, "Does Jeff need a car?" And I said, "Yeah, he does. He's looking." She says, "Well, why don't you come and get mine?" And I said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And something happened. I don't know what. I mean, she wasn't in an accident or any of that. But something must have happened when she went to Publix, which was right next to the Vista that she lived in Port St. Lucie. And she just
She didn't want
decided
to drive anymore.
she didn't want to drive anymore. And I thought, wow. But she was gone just a short time later. I mean, it was less than 6 months.
That's a real wake-up call.
Well, she was an LA kid. She didn't really like Florida because she didn't know it. She was here because she had fallen and broken a hip. And I said, I can't keep running out to LA.
Right.
And so we brought her here, and she was never a happy camper here. But I get it. And the more time that goes by, I really get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing. Wow.
So those little things that aren't important to you, and what I learned through that process is the bond between you and your parents becomes much stronger if you go through that with them. If you give them the opportunity to tell you stories about their childhood that you may not have heard before, or give you the opportunity to tell stories when they're looking at different things about, I had this best friend here and we did this together. I mean, you may not have heard those stories before.
Yeah.
And I think it just makes the bond between the adult child and the elderly parent so much stronger.
That depression story with your friend is amazing. I mean, it's like to think of that generation that had to go through that.
Well, I remember one time when I was helping my mom clean out my grandmother's cedar chest, there were depression stamps in there.
Oh my God! Yeah,
So
I've heard of those. I've never seen.
She
them.
told me the story about how, and it was like, oh my gosh, you mean you just couldn't go to the store and buy what you wanted to? Well, no. There was only so much flour available, so you had to have a stamp in order to buy flour, or you couldn't make bread.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Whew.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
get on a brighter subject,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
So everybody worries about a checklist when you're buying a house, right? Nobody thinks about the checklist when you're moving,
No.
okay? So, I have 6 most important things to do before moving. And the first one is to make a checklist. If you don't already have a checklist because you've moved in the past, although things do change, you might want to go online and see if you can find some general checklists to use, because if you don't use a checklist, there's going to be something you're going to forget, and you're going to be very surprised about it, and it's going to push your timeline back, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 5 days. Who knows?
Yep.
So go out there and get that checklist. If you don't have one, let me know and we can send you one. So this is just a very simple, basic one, and there are so many subsections that you can put to this. But like I said, number 1 is to have a checklist. Number 2 is to make sure that you have your moving supplies, like your boxes and things like that. They're not always available. I went a couple of weeks ago because there's a service that I provide to my clients. If they are donating things, I will pack them up and we will call Habitat for Humanity and have them picked up. So I went to get boxes a couple of weeks ago. They didn't have any. And this is a big store. They were the only boxes they had. I couldn't even put my arms around. They were so large. So make sure that you can get the supplies you need. Always buy 10% more than you think you're going to need. If you don't put those boxes together and you have your receipt, you can return them.
I went to Staples the other day to get paper, and the one up here in Fort Pierce always had a ton of boxes. They weren't there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wait a minute, where did they go? And the manager told me, he just said, hey, we haven't had those for maybe a week. And I'm thinking, here we go, supply chain again.
Yep.
But it's lumber, right?
Right.
I mean, it's, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and not only is it the supply chain, but it's the amount of people here that are moving.
That too, yeah.
And then there's always the conversation or the thoughts of, should I hire a mover or am I going to do this myself? And there are varying degrees of that. You can pack your things and just have the movers move them for you. You can go the whole 9 yards and you can bring the movers in to do all of your packing for you. Just remember that if you have change laying on the counter, they will pack that change for you as well. You'll find it in the same location as the other things in that area, because they just go through the house with a box and they start here and they fill up the box and tape it up, and then they go here and they fill up the next box and they tape it up. So whatever is in that area is going in that box.
Our kids use the pod.
Yes.
Yeah, they use that when they moved out to California. And,
Yes.
And yeah, they seem to like that.
Yes, there are a lot of options where that's concerned. And if you're looking for good local movers that have national affiliation, so that you could do a cross-country move if you had to, I can certainly make some recommendations for you. Don't forget to change your address. I guess the post office has several different ways that you can do that now. There's even a service that you can pay for that shows you what mail is going to be delivered before it gets delivered.
I just like to see mail every once in a while.
Yeah. So make sure that you change your address. You can change it online, or you can go into the post office and ask for the form. Don't expect them to process that the day you turn it in. So you can't give them the form on Monday and be moving on Monday, because your mail will not get forwarded right away. I forget how many days notice it tells you on that form, but that form does tell you that there's a certain numbers of days that it takes them to process that before your mail will start forwarding.
Oh, so they at least notify you that on the form that it's going to take X amount of days.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would add a couple if it was me.
Yeah, or a week.
Right. This is one that a lot of people forget, is to change your utilities.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say I think it's still this way, when you notify FP&L that you're moving, they want to see the notification from the seller and from the buyer so that they make the transition. If it's just one of them notifying, I think that they can't complete that until they get the notification from both.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yep, I have heard of that before.
I don't, it's been so long since it's been 20 years since we moved in the house. I can't even remember that. Huh.
Right.
Interesting.
The last one is one that a lot of people don't think about, and I think it's really important. No matter if you are taking a trip and your luggage is going into the airport, into the plane without you,
Yes.
always pack an essentials bag. I've moved many times, more times than I like to admit to, but I always have a box that says open me first, and those are the essentials for the house,
There you go.
or the essentials for my toothbrush is in there and things like that. So pack an essentials bag, pack an open me first box, things like that, so that you don't have to search for what you're looking for or what you need right away. So I thought that was pretty good information.
Yeah, it is. And don't expect your moving truck to arrive when you get off the plane. That's not going to happen.
Oh, no.
That's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing a long move.
Yeah. Sure. And, give it some time.
Yeah, you have to plan these things. You really do.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in today's. In fact, I had a seller. She had to schedule, I want to say 2 weeks ago, she had to schedule for into July already for her move. So you need like 3 weeks notice if you're going to be talking to a mover.
Wow.
You also need, with your mover, you also need to ask, are they insured? What kind of insurance do they have? What kind of damage do they cover? Some of them, when you see these little signs around, or, Joe will put your stuff in his truck and move it for you, maybe he's insured and maybe he isn't. So those are all things that you need to think about in advance.
Yes, very much so. Yes.
So, would you like to know where the younger generations are moving to?
Oh, here we go.
So, this is research that was done. Actually, it says that it was a Fortune study. Gen Z, 25% of Gen Z and 26% of millennials moved or planned to move during the pandemic, compared to 12% of Gen X's and 10% of boomers. Florida doesn't apply to that, I don't think. Surveys conducted in November 2020 and October of 2021 found that young adults are more likely to have moved due to the pandemic, including 13% of 18 to 29-year-olds in the most recent survey.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, it is. I think just my personal thought on this is, so many of them probably had their address at college. But when the pandemic hit and all those college dorms
There's
closed
no college.
down,
Yeah.
they had to go someplace else. They had to move back home, or they had to go into an apartment, or whatever they did. So I'm sure that that's a big portion of this percentage. If you look at population trends going back to the last decade, it's clear that that populations are heading south and west. Studies show that Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, and Colorado are especially popular destinations for the younger generations. Moreover, East and West Coast cities are no longer the number one destination for younger people. The largest urban centers, particularly in the Northeast, are bleeding population.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows that. But I thought it was quite interesting the states that they're going to: Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, and Colorado.
They're all low tax states.
Well, but maybe not anymore.
That's true. Yeah.
Let's see. This is this report was a few years old, but it says Connecticut Office of Policy and Management found that 18 to 29-year-olds were fleeing Connecticut in record numbers.
Yeah, I flooded there in 1981.
New York, Los Angeles, San Jose, Boston, and San Francisco all lost populations in 2019 to 2021, while Austin, Fort Worth, Seattle, Tampa, Tucson showed population growth during the same period.
We love Tucson. I think if there was, that would be the place we would go if we weren't here.
Tucson, Arizona.
We loved it. That was a great 4 years in Tucson. Yeah. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Something about the desert.
Well, it's the warmth and not the humidity. Although, they're very dry right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We have a friend in Albuquerque, and they're growing quite a bit. And Albuquerque, Santa Fe areas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is a really cool informational piece. So if somebody wants this, just email us, mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com, and I'll send this to you. Increasingly popular as design features, plants add wellness and style benefits to home spaces.
Oh, yeah. You bet.
Yes. So.
And color. I mean, you bet.
And now people are calling themselves plant parents.
Okay. Plant parents.
Parents. I love that. It says many of these plant buyers got started during the pandemic, but indoor gardening was already becoming a trending hobby among millennials pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they use plant walls as a divider between an indoor and an outdoor space. Sometimes they use plant walls as what's the word I want to use? An environmental cleaning process inside the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It reminds me of an old episode that I saw on HGTV many years ago about this house that a couple bought, and it had an arboretum in the center of it.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, they took it out. Nowadays, people would be putting it back in.
I was going to say, those can be beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful, yeah. Wow.
Mental health benefits are substantial when it comes to growing and taking care of plants. So remember that if you are a person who maybe you are not socially very active, but you can certainly improve your mood at home if you grow some green stuff and take care of it.
What kind of green stuff are you talking about?
No. I'm talking.
I'm
talking
real good stuff.
I'm talking plants, just
plants. Oh, okay.
Regular house plants. Don't you get me in trouble? Just regular house plants. Or another good option is herb garden, an indoor herb garden. Put it in a window in the kitchen. Put it there. Those get quite elaborate.
It's funny, the rabbi who's on Fridays at 11, she's got the ultimate green thumb. She brought a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I know.
Her.
I listen to her show, and she has plant sales all the time.
Yeah, and she has brought a bunch of things from Tucson, and they're growing here, and they weren't supposed to grow in the humidity. but she's gotten them all there. And
Good
yeah.
for her.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
This makes a point. People want to be surrounded by plants and places where they decompress the most. They give you a very relaxing feel.
Yep.
Living walls are becoming a frequent request for people. They can be created for indoor or outdoor spaces and add visual warmth. Herb walls are also popular trends. Let's see. There's even a hydroponic wall system that's available now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I thought that was really cool.
And you've got that available?
I do.
Cool.
It's quite a lengthy article. It gives you a lot of good information, a lot of good suggestions. If you want me to send you a copy of it, I'm happy to do that. So just email us at mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com. And this is the last words on it. Learning the benefits of different types of plants is super important and interesting. This is a statement by a California homeowner whose clients invest heavily in landscape and indoor plants. And you don't need a great climate or a gigantic budget to make plants work for your home and life.
That's so true. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we always have our blinds open, so the plants in the patio are always there, and it's like, yeah, it's nice. It's like they're living in a forest.
Yes.
It's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So how can we get in touch with you?
Our phone number, 772-200-5105. You can call or text that number and reach us that way. You can also, again, email us at mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com.
Sounds good. And, of course, you could use a little bit of help as far as sponsorship. So.
Oh, yes. We are open to sponsorships. If you would like to, if you like this program and you want it to stay on the air, please contact me or WPSL, and we can certainly discuss that with you.
That sounds good. Okay, your phone number again?
772-200-5105.
And your email?
mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com.
All right.
And have a great week, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Have a good one. You've been listening to My Dream Home Radio right here on WPSL Port St. Lucie. Talk of the Treasure Coast, webcaster to the world on your TuneIn app. And WSTU Stewart, Martin County's heritage station, serving the Treasure Coast since 1954.